Okay, stop scrolling because Hollywood just had one of its messiest, buzziest, most wait, that one award nights in years. And trust me, the Golden Globes didn't just hand out trophies. They handed out storylines, side eyes, shock wins, whispered feuds, and the kind of drama publicists pretend doesn't exist. Yes, we're talking about the Golden Globe Awards, where prestige films battled crowd pleasers, TV stole the spotlight, and everyone suddenly remembered how powerful these awards still are when it comes to Oscar momentum and ego inflation. Let's start with the moment that set the internet on fire before half the champagne glasses were empty. Hamnet walked in calm, artistic, and emotionally devastating, and walked out with one of the biggest wins of the night: Best Motion Picture Drama. Boom. The kind of win that makes studio executives nod slowly while whispering, okay, this changes things. Directed by Chloe Zhao, the film didn't scream blockbuster energy, but it screamed prestige, grief, poetry, and award season seriousness. And when Jessie Buckley picked up Best Actress, you could almost hear Oscar campaign engines starting in the background. Quiet films winning big always hits different because suddenly everyone claims they loved it from the start. But let's be real, the true chaos agent of the night was one battle after another. This movie didn't just win awards, it marched through categories like it had something to prove. Best musical or comedy? Check. Best director for Paul Thomas Anderson? Absolutely. Supporting actress for Teyana Taylor? Locked in. And every single time its name was called, cameras cut to tables where other nominees smiled politely while internally screaming. That's award show etiquette 101. Clap like you're happy, cry later in the limo. And speaking of people who did not look remotely stressed, Timothée Chalamet winning Best Actor for Marty Supreme felt less like a surprise and more like a, yeah, that tracks moment. The man walked in dressed like a fashion experiment that somehow worked, delivered a speech that was charming without trying too hard, and reminded everyone why Hollywood has collectively decided he's the guy. Again. Still. Forever. Somewhere, a stylist just earned their bonus. But while film fans were busy debating whether prestige or popularity won the night, television quietly said, hold my drink, because TV absolutely dominated this year's Globes conversation. Adolescence didn't just win, it collected 4 awards like it was playing bingo. Best Limited Series, acting wins, critical validation, audience obsession. This show walked away as the undisputed TV heavyweight of the night, and suddenly everyone who hadn't watched it pretended it was already on their list. You know how it goes. Meanwhile, The Pit came in hot and claimed Best Drama Series, with Noah Weil reminding us all that yes, he still got it, and yes, dramatic authority ages very well. His win felt like a mix of respect, nostalgia, and thank you for carrying intense television on your shoulders. On the comedy side, the studio grabbed Best Comedy Series, and Seth Rogen winning Best Actor was one of those moments where laughter, industry respect, and a tiny bit of finally energy collided beautifully. And then there's Gene Smart, who continues to collect awards the way most people collect unread emails. Another win, another perfectly timed speech, another reminder that comedic brilliance with depth never goes out of style. At this point, she could show up, say thank you, and still get a standing ovation. But award shows are never just about who wins. They're about reactions, the camera cuts, the whispers, the energy shifts. You could feel the room tense during certain announcements. You could feel joy during others. And yes, you could absolutely feel when someone thought they had it in the bag and didn't. That's the Golden Globes' magic. Less formal than the Oscars, more chaotic than the Emmys, and just loose enough for personalities to slip through. Hosting duties went to Nikki Glazer, who walked the perfect line between roasting Hollywood and not making enemies she'll need later. Sharp jokes, self-aware humor, and enough bite to keep things spicy without going full scorched earth. And let's be honest, award shows need that edge. Nobody wants safe jokes when the room is full of egos. Special honors brought the emotional moments. Helen Mirren receiving the Cecil B. DeMille Award was pure class, grace, legacy, and the kind of career that makes everyone in the room reflect on time, talent, and the fact that longevity is the real flex in Hollywood. And when Sarah Jessica Parker was honored with the Carol Burnett Award, it felt like television royalty acknowledging television royalty. Cue applause, misty eyes, and speeches that reminded us why we fell in love with TV in the first place.
And can we talk about the subtle power plays? Studios watching wins like chess moves, agents texting mid-ceremony, publicists already rewriting headlines before the night was over. Because make no mistake, these awards are momentum machines. One Globe can shift an entire Oscar narrative. One surprise loss can trigger a full campaign rethink. Hollywood may smile on camera, but behind the scenes, calculators are out. Fashion, of course, had its own storyline. Some looks screamed old Hollywood, others screamed experimental art project, and a few screamed my stylist hates me. But that's part of the fun, because tomorrow's headlines aren't just about winners, they're about who wore what, who sat where, and who looked thrilled versus who looked like they were planning a career pivot. And here's the real tea. This year's Golden Globes proved that audiences are craving emotion, originality, and authenticity again. Quiet dramas are rising, television is dominating cultural conversation, and stars who actually take risks are being rewarded. It wasn't about the loudest franchise or the biggest box office, it was about storytelling that sticks. So whether you're rooting for Hamnet, obsessing over adolescence, cheering for one battle after another, or just here for the reactions and red carpet drama, one thing is clear. The Golden Globes are back in their influencer era. Messy, meaningful, unpredictable, and absolutely impossible to ignore. And now the countdown to the Oscars officially begins. If you loved this deep dive into Hollywood's juiciest night, want more award season drama, insider gossip, and unfiltered celebrity chaos, make sure you subscribe to Inside Hollywood because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. See you soon.